So again, welcome to tonight's admissions virtual event. My name is Jolie Bazemore, and I am the director of the Bridge program. And I'm excited because I get to be a part of this special event and hear the stories of the students who participate in the Bridge program. Um, Bridge program is our most comprehensive support program that we offer at Worcester School. It's another pathway for us to deliver services that become a part of our students' story, and it's all inclusive. We take a learning center approach, and so tonight we're inviting our students to share that story with you. Um, I do want to let everyone know that tonight's event will be recorded, and so you will receive a link to the recording at the end. We'll also post the recording on our website. And also, if you have questions, you can drop them down in the chat box, and we'll make sure that we have some time tonight to answer your questions. But I want to first start, and I want to go around and introduce our lovely panelists. I'm going to have, I do have questions prepared for each of the students to respond to, but again, if you have a particular question, just leave in the chat and we'll have time for them to respond to. So panelists, um, can you, for this lovely group of people, I'm going to open up so you can share your name, your current grade, how many years you've been at Worcester, and your hometown.
I'll start it off, I guess.
Okay, thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Drew. First of all, I'd like to apologize for being late. I was having some trouble finding the link to the Zoom, but I am a junior here at Worcester, and this is my third year.
I guess I can go next. I'm Kendall. I'm also a junior at Worcester. I've been at Worcester for 4 years now, and yeah.
I will go next. My name's Ian Brown. I'm a freshman, and this is my fourth year at Worcester, and I'm from Weston, Connecticut.
I'm Gabe Thibodeau. I'm in ninth grade. This is my first year at Worcester, and I live in Lewisboro.
I'm Ava. I'm in seventh grade, and I've been going to Worcester for 2 years.
Okay, who else? Did everyone get to introduce themselves? Okay. Well, thank you for that. I'm going to start. I'm going to actually start with Ava. Is that okay, Ava, if I start with you? Okay. So, Ava, can you describe a day in the life of a student who participated in a bridge program? I'm going to start with you, and then I'm going to ask Gabe to share his experience. So, what does that look like? What does bridge look like on a day-to-day basis for the two of you?
For me, it doesn't look any other different except that I don't take Spanish. Instead of Spanish, I take Bridge.
Okay. Gabe, do you want to talk about your day?
Sure, I'll jump in here. Yeah, I go to all the same classes as my peers. I bridge sort of in the middle of the day. A typical bridge class, we come in, we have a warm up. We do like the 5 and 5, 5 tasks in 5 minutes. After that, we usually have some announcements, work due, things like that. And then we move into usually workshop time, a time where we can get things done as we need to.
Awesome. Awesome. Drew, this question is for you. What is the typical workload for students, and how have you learned any strategies? Like, what type of strategies have you learned in Bridge to address your workload? And these questions are questions that have been commonly asked by families who are looking at the Bridge program, Worcester School. So we want to give some insight. So what does a typical workload look like, and what strategies have you learned in Bridge to assist with that?
Yeah, so definitely being here since freshman year. I've been in the Bridge program since freshman year. As a freshman, the workload definitely compared to junior year is definitely a lot less. But as you get older and you mature and you're able to continue to build relationships with your teachers, it gets easier to advocate for yourself and easier for you to reach out to teachers or reach out to peers or tutors to seek help. And one in Bridge, they specifically like are trained for that one-on-one time and being able to see how you think and see how you comprehend and see how you're able to understand information. So the workload, I wouldn't even say is as bad as public school, but I would say using your time wisely and using your resources wisely is very beneficial and very important.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that. I'm gonna start with Kendall on this. What's different or the same about learning in Bridge compared to your other classes?
Okay, so what's different about it is basically Bridge is kind of for you. Um, it's like a small amount of people, like 8 to 10 per your Bridge class, and in that time you basically can do the work that you need to get done as well as be able to do it the way that your like brain kind of works. So if you need help on one specific thing, your Bridge teachers are there to support you on that, more one-on-one and more directly, rather than if you were in class and had a bunch of other people. That time is basically for you. So that's what's a little bit different about learning. You kind of learn how you learn while being in Bridge because you get to experience like and try new things about what works for you during that time. What's the same is I would say you're doing like the same work and you're also with a group of kids who also kind of all are on a different learning level. um so you kind of learn like what works and what doesn't work throughout all your classes and in Bridge.
Thank you for that. Ava, so you've been with us in our early middle school program. Now you're in our upper middle school program. So can you tell us what's different or the same about what you learn in Bridge compared to your other classes?
It's kind of the same as Kendall said. Um, yeah, we practice all the skills that we would need, like writing topic sentences and just also math facts, like that type of stuff. And for me, I get support on all my assignments and in all of my classes as well.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so my next question is, do you feel like being in a Bridge program changes the way teachers or peers see you? Why or why not? And I'm gonna bounce this off to Ian.
So I think being in Bridge, for me, I don't think it changes how people see me working. I do see in regular classes that I have Bridge teachers in, uh, like regular students, I guess, using a Bridge teacher and like using their support. But I don't think there's any change on how people see me work. I think we all work differently, but I use the support to like really like build my agency, check check in on like last minute assignments, and I don't think it doesn't change how anybody sees me working.
Yeah, and that's good to hear because that's something that we value at Worcester School in general. Like we want to make sure that our students feel included, no matter what type of support they require. Um, all right, so I'm going to come back to you, Kendall, for a minute. What has been your biggest personal or academic growth moment since joining the Bridge program? And you've been in our program for how long? Can you share with the group how long you've been in the program?
I've been in the bridge program since 8th grade, so now this is my 4th year.
Awesome. Okay.
I would say that my biggest accomplishment has probably been my independence, just because I know I was coming in as an 8th grader that I was not as confident on work and like my reading comprehension and stuff like that. But being able to be in the bridge program definitely helped me with my independence. Now I find myself like not seeking as much help. Like I kind of able to know what I need to do and advocate if I need help. But if I don't, I'm now able to do it on my own and I'm able to express to my teachers like um how I'm doing on something or just how it's going. So I think definitely my independence, like I'm gotten very like strong at throughout the years. And I think that's probably my biggest growth area.
Thank you for that. Now, Drew, I'm going to ask you this question. In terms of you learning about yourself as a student, as an athlete, all those things that are part of what makes you you. Um, how what part of the Bridge program has helped make you kind of define or realize who you are as a learner?
Yeah. Well, being in Bridge for the past 2 years, there have been many things I've actually been able to discover about me and about my learning that has been something that I've been able to go to my Bridge teachers and be like, hey, I am really, really struggling with this specifically. And it's something that we can use and work on, and something that I'm able to communicate with them, and then they're able to reciprocate it and, be able to, find what I need and what works for me, kind of as what we've been saying this entire meeting, everyone's
Yeah.
brain works differently, everyone thinks differently, everyone does work differently. So it really all just depends on the person. And I think that being in the Bridge program and kind of being in that environment where that's the main focus, you're able to realize a lot more about how you can improve your learning, how you can feel better about your learning
Mhm.
in the program, and like what you can learn about yourself and what skills you can utilize and what not to utilize, and good habits. So yeah.
Thank you so much.
Was
Now I'm curious. Gabe, you've been with us. This is your first year, right? In the Bridge program at Worcester School. Um, so I'm curious to know, like, was there a moment where something clicked for you? Like this was the right move for my family. Like a defining moment that stood out to you that Bridge was a fit.
I don't think there was, thinking about it, there wasn't one particular moment, but as soon as I arrived on the Worcester campus and had a few classes and then had bridge, I definitely realized that it was definitely right for me because I do have dyslexia and it does take me on average 2 times longer to do a task. So having that bridge period really was the missing piece in helping me to get as much done as I can.
Thank you for that. Does anyone else want to answer that question? Like, did you have a defining moment? You're like, this is for me.
I think a defining moment for me was when I started in 6th grade and I was really new and I felt like I didn't really know anything about this school. I had no clue. And I felt like Mrs. Lingenheld, who was my teacher at the time, welcomed me in and it was really big for me because bridge period is what I was missing, like big time. And once I joined, it was really like a big success for me.
Awesome. So along that lines, Ava, let me ask you this. What do you enjoy the most about being in a program?
For me, I enjoy the small classes. And it's also nice because my Bridge teacher comes into my classes, so she knows what's happening in my classes, so she can help me with that work.
Okay, so I'm gonna put you on the spot. Can you elaborate on that push-in piece? Like you said that your teachers come into that classroom. What does that look like for you?
For me, well, I'll just use an example. I'm doing an essay right now for a book, and she came into my English class and listened to the lesson, and she helped me figure out like what transition words to use and that type of stuff. And that really helped me.
Awesome, awesome. So that is one part of the program, particularly in the fifth through 10th grade model, where you have the teachers pushing into the classroom and delivering services there. Does anyone else want to add on to that piece, like what that looks like for you? Um,
I can add on what it kind of looked like
Sure.
my time. So when I was a freshman and sophomore, the bridge teachers would come into more like your humanities and math classes. So basically, they're not just pushing in for you. They are there for your support as well, but they actually sometimes even co-teach the class that you're in. So anyone who's there can talk to one of those teachers because to them it's just like another teacher being in the room. It's not like they're there just watching over the bridge kids, and it's normalized there that they're into your classes and helping out everyone. So it's not like you feel like singled out as I'm a bridge kid, so they're there like only staring at the bridge kids. They're not. They're there for everyone in your class as well as you. So it's all normalized, and I think it's actually helpful because they also know what's going on then in your classes and are able to take that to your bridge time period when if you're confused on something or just want to like focus more on it, they're able to do that. And that definitely helps when you're first going into high school because I mean those first years are a little bit like changing from middle school to high school. So that's what it kind of looked like. And as a junior, they stop pushing into your classes and that's when like a little shift happens. But when they push into your classes, um, it's not like you're singled out or anything. They're there for everyone too.
Awesome. Yeah, and so that I'm glad that you highlighted the concept of it being normalized. So we tend to get questions about that, like what is there any stigma around being a bridge student and having this type of support? So thank you for highlighting that for us. Um, you have mentioned something about being prepared for high school. So you started in the middle school. Ian, you were in the middle school, and then you had this transition to the high school. Um, so could you tell us what that transition to high school was like for you? And Gabe, I'm going to ask you the same thing, but because you were coming from a different school going into the high school. So if Kendall and Ian, you can talk about your transition from bridge and middle school to the high school. What was that like for you?
So for me, the transition from middle school to high school in the bridge program was bridge in middle school was I would say just like a little bit more like structured in a way. You'd go there, you'd have like a set schedule on what you kind of have to complete in that time kind of. And then in high school, because your classes are more up to you, it's kind of like, okay, what am I going to take into that bridge class and what do I need to prioritize my time to get it done? And your teachers are there to help you as well. And sometimes they even pre-teach. I know from my freshman year, they kind of did that sometimes where they might teach a little bit of a lesson before you go into your class, but it wasn't as big as in eighth grade. In eighth grade, you'd kind of know what you're about to learn before you went into the class. Transitioning to high school, you kind of didn't know. Like everyone found out at the same time. You might have a little bit of like prior knowledge. But in high school they also do like a reteach sometimes where they'll go over kind of what you learned. So I think that was probably like the biggest adjustment from middle school bridge to high school bridge.
Thank you.
I'd agree with Kendall. I think when I was in the middle school bridge, I think it was way more hands-on. I definitely needed that because I was struggling at that point. But once I got into high school right now as a freshman, it felt like I was joining a new school. it felt way different. Bridge really helped me with this transition because they usually they're a little more hands-on in middle school, as I said, and I think they backed off a little bit and let me um try to figure it out independently, and then when I'd need help, I'd ask them for it. But I do think just being in high school now, I think more freedom and independence uh that like could maybe push you farther as a learner. I also think that just joining Bridge has just been like really big for me. So when I went into high school, I it felt like I was joining something else.
Thank you for that. Gabe, before you speak, we do have one of our panelists here, Alexandria. How are you tonight, sweetheart?
I'm good, thank you. Sorry about the Zoom malfunction. I was like searching for the link a lot, but I'm here, so thank
That's
you.
okay. So we're always excited you're here to join the conversation. So why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us who you are, where you're coming from, how many years you've been in Worcester.
Okay, hi, I'm Alexandra Roth. I'm a sophomore at Worcester. I came to Worcester last year. This is my second year at the Bridge program, and I definitely feel like the Bridge program has helped me tremendously. And I don't think that Worcester would be the same for me without the Bridge program. So I definitely am an advocate for the Bridge program, and I will share my thoughts when it's my time to share my thoughts. Like fun fact or is that good?
Yeah, that's good. So the
Okay.
question I had passed on to Gabe as someone who's new to the program and being prepared for high school. So Gabe, what school were you coming to us from?
Yeah, so I came to Worcester from Winston Prep in Norwalk, Connecticut. And I must say, high school is a big step up. There's lots of changing and expectations, the workload shift. But I would say that I've adapted very nicely to Worcester as a whole. And I would say Bridge has helped me to keep up with the changing expectations as you come from a different school and going up to a different grade. So Bridge definitely has helped me. Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. And I do want to give a shout out to like Winston Prep and schools like the Southport School and Eagle Hill, because you know that's been a really strong partnership that we have with these schools. And for students like Gabe, I would say that when you came to Worcester and the Bridge program, you kind of saw some things that were similar, but now it's like we're going to amp some things up. Alexander, you're shaking your head. What do you want to share about that?
I wanted to agree. I came from the Southport school, and I just agree with the fact that like you get that support you needed, but on like an elevated scale. So it's definitely like keeping the same like structure, the bottom base the same, but there's definitely those additions like the windows as like a metaphor, just like the additions that you need in the high school environment. It's going to be different than a middle school, but you're still getting the support you need. It's just adapting to your new year.
Yeah. And can you extend that thinking into how how much you've learned about yourself so far by being in the Bridgeport, by having these experiences at the Southport School and now at Bridge and Worcester in general?
So the Bridge program has really helped me understand myself as a learner because it's given me the opportunity to reflect on how I process information and where I need extra support. So through the Bridge program, I learned that I thrive when I can take my time with a concept and break it down into smaller pieces. And the individualized attention from teachers has allowed me to recognize that I need clear step-by-step instructions and hands-on learning to fully grasp difficult topics. I've also realized that I perform better in an environment where I feel like supported and not rushed, which has boosted my confidence in approaching challenges. And overall, the program has helped me embrace my own learning style and recognizing that everyone has their unique path to success. And just overall, like I learned that I thrive when it's just like in like a smaller classroom, but you're still in the classroom. It's just an extra period. So you still go to math, but you might be struggling in math. In my case, math is not my strongest subject. So I go to math class and I learn everything that everyone else in the class is learning, but then I have that extra period in the middle of the day for me, or in the end of the day, or in the beginning of the day, where I can get that extra support, or that breaking down steps that help me further my learning and help me grasp the topics a little bit at a better level.
Oh, Miss Bazemore, you're on mute.
Sorry, the dogs were barking in the back. I forgot to take that off. So what I was saying is that I'm gonna this question goes to both Kendall and Drew, because you are now in our 11th and 12th grade model. So I want our guests to get a sense of what does that look like for you, especially with this opportunity to take, DLI classes. First of all, you probably want to say what that is. But what does your 11th grade model look like now that you have these opportunities to take more advanced classes? And how does Bridge fit into all of that?
Okay, so I guess I can start on that. For me, I take 3 advanced classes and a DLI. So, DLI stands for a Deep Learning Initiative, and basically that's kind of more of like, I'm kind of teaching like myself type learning in a class. So right now I'm in DLI, I'm a scientist, and this is actually a new class. And we're reading about the immortal life of Henrietta Lacks, and basically we're just learning about science consent over time. So that work is a little bit more independent. Like we get assigned the book and we go home, read, and we have to quote some stuff. And then your advanced coursework is you get to choose if you want to be in those classes. So I'm taking advanced writers workshop, advanced pre-calc, and then I also take advanced journalism. But those classes are more like a course where you're moving at a faster pace, and your work gets a little bit harder than a regular course. But I definitely think Bridge has made me be able to take those classes and feel good in them. I just think that being able to build like the confidence and like knowing how you learn to be able to be in those classes definitely help, because your bridge teachers don't know what all those classes are, so you have to know like yourself as a learner if you're going to be able to work well in there. But bridge definitely will support you if you need it, so I think you should definitely take advanced classes as you get older, considering that it looks good and you can really build your independence as a learner.
Yeah. So adding on to Kendall, I am in 2 advanced, 1 honors class, and I agree with her 1000%. Those classes are a lot faster paced. They are sometimes more independent. And you have to kind of, take initiative. You gotta be prepared. You know what you signed up for. It's not going to be an easy class, but it's a good class, and they're fun, and they are, well, not they, but being in the bridge program definitely kind of opens that opportunity a little bit more, having the connections and having the confidence to go into those classes, sit down and kind of just tell yourself, okay, I got this, you know?
Definitely. And we also have embedded honors in the other classes, the other grade level. So is there anyone else who would like to talk about how they have advanced in their courses, and the support that Bridge offers to do that work?
I mean, I can talk about embedded honors a little bit from a sophomore perspective. So embedded honors, you can get that starting as a freshman, and basically there aren't like honors classes at Worcester, but embedded honors is like it's embedded in your coursework. So you go to the class, and then as an option to like advance yourself, you can do the opportunity to partake in honors work, which is work on top of the coursework that you already get. And I like that approach because it doesn't feel as closed off as like my friend is in honors classes and I'm not. Honors is open for everybody. So no matter how you work as a learner, or no matter how you approach the class, you always have the option to do honors. You can feel really, maybe it's like you're motivated by, or maybe you and your friend are both doing honors together. Maybe she's not in bridge, but you are, but you guys both can connect by doing honors. So it's just not very like closed off as of my friend's in honors, I'm not. Well, I guess that kind of like says that I'm not as smart or something. There's none of that, because there's that really like teamwork benefit of like, we can do this together. Like, if you want to do honors, you can go for it. And then the bridge program helps with that, because bridge kind of helps you like organize your regular coursework, and then you can feel more prepared to take on the challenge of embedded honors. So you have your fundamentals down, but if you're really succeeding in doing the regular coursework and you want to push yourself as a learner, bridge can help you achieve that by saying, okay, this is what you need to do in order to get there. So let's break it down in the sense that like I'm doing bio honors and I'm doing world lit honors, and that's what just spoke to me. So I think that that's another like nice approach, is like you can do honors what makes you feel good, even if like I'm not the best in math, so I'm like not going to put myself in the position to do math honors, but if I wanted to, I could. So it's just like the open-minded approach that I think is great, and bridge helps you kind of reflect who you are as a learner, which helps you know what you're up for, like what you're up for.
Thank you for that. There's a question that's coming up, and I know that we started earlier with how does bridge fit in the day to day. So I do want to give clarity that, and students help me out here. So how often does bridge meet for all of you?
Once a
4
day,
times.
usually.
Once a day.
Yeah, once a day.
Yeah.
So we
Except on
have our
Wednesdays.
so we have our 4 core academic days: the Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So just like any other core class, Bridge will meet as often as any of those classes, right? Um, it is in lieu of a language, but some students have the opportunity to take language. Usually that happens in their 11th and 12th grade year, because we're still building those foundations throughout their time in Bridge. Alexandra, you had your hand up. Were you going to
Yeah,
add
I
something?
just wanted to add on. Sorry. So you said like we meet once a day for bridge. But something that's really nice about bridge is you can go to them during your free periods. So I go to bridge during my frees. So I kind of meet with bridge sometimes twice a day necessarily, so you can get that even extra support on top of the extra support. So you can always email your bridge teacher and be like, hey, I'm really confused on this, can I have like a little bit more explanation on that? And I feel like that's a really, really beneficial tool to utilize. And I think that students in bridge, if they need extra support on top of it, and there's no shame in that, because I think that's genuinely what this program is made for. Like, there is no shame in extra support, and it's definitely like showcased that way. So I sometimes go to bridge like 2 times a day, maybe 3. I'll just pop in and be like, hey, quick question, or I'll like email my teachers in the middle of the day. And they're there for that extra support, which makes you feel like less alone and more like, okay, I can do this. So
Yes. Thank you for that. Okay. So I'm gonna end, because we talked a lot about academics, but I do want to ask you about your social life. So what are you all involved in? Drew, I'm going to start with you, and then bounce off to Gabe, but anyone else can jump in. But describe your social experience. What are you involved in? What type of leadership are you taking on, if you're taking on leadership? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, of course. So at Worcester, we freshman and sophomore year, you have to do an after school activity, first trimester, second trimester, and third trimester. Junior year and senior year, you have one free trimester where you don't have to do anything after. So when coming to Worcester, my big thing was baseball, right? I'd never really played a lot more other sports, but I knew I was gonna have to try, and despite the fact being nervous, it was my freshman year, and I remember going to practice for the first day. I didn't even really know anyone. I knew 2 kids that were on my team. And I remember, like, I swear I remember it was like yesterday. And I was standing on the field, And as practice went on, as people came up to me, started talking to me, I was able to kind of realize, like, okay, these guys don't even know who I am. Why are they being so nice to me? You know what I mean? Like, you're able to establish that connection. Everyone's so friendly. Everyone is so welcoming. And being on teams and kind of Worcester forcing you to kind of go out of your comfort level um, is extremely beneficial. I mean, I've been playing soccer now for the past 3 years. I love it just because I have fun with my friends. Trust me, I am not good, but I love it because I have fun with my friends. Um, and I've also been able to kind of expand outside of sports. Um, I freshman year I started, doing open makerspace, and I really enjoyed that. So I did it again last year, and that's kind of like woodworking. I'm a kind of hands-on guy. I like to make stuff. And that's kind of how I understand stuff. So I was like, okay, cool, let's just try it. So then from there, this year I started a different class called engineering and design, which I really enjoy. And I just kept kind of falling in love with the idea of just like using my hands. So then I tried ceramics as my Monday art. And being able and like I'm not an artsy person. Like if you told me when before I came to Worcester if I'd be doing ceramics in my junior year, I would start laughing because that's just not something that I used to see myself doing. But now I'm finding all these new things that I love and interests, and that's all because of Worcester.
So I guess I'll take it from there. I'm involved in the Worcester Theater Department, in the technical theater half of it, and we build sets for our play productions and our winter musical, which we're doing now. And I would say like the social aspect of that is you're working with a crew, and definitely you're a big theater family. And I've definitely have friends down there now, and it's overall a great experience working together. And yeah.
Awesome. Ava, are you comfortable with sharing like what your social experience has been like so far?
For me, every place that I've like all my classes and even in sports, there's a little community. Even if like for me, I'm in like cross country, there's like maybe 6 people there. That's a part of my community, and my community is just growing as I'm going in a way for me.
Thank you so much, hon.
Miss
So
Bailey, I had a
yes.
Okay, so I really want to like add on to the part that Drew was talking about because Worcester allows so many opportunities. Like the only sport I really did before coming to Worcester was tennis. And literally my junior year I picked up soccer and I'm not good at it either. Like I literally haven't played since 3rd grade. And just being able to like walk on a team and because they needed girls and being able to play in every game, I found that I actually really love soccer. And also a leadership role within that is if you become like find a sport that you really like, you can even have a shot at becoming captain for that sport. And being at Worcester, it's allowed me to try like new sports. Like I play basketball, awful at it, but I do it. Soccer I actually found out that I really like. And tennis is my strongest sport. Um, I love playing it. I played it since freshman year on the varsity team, so it's really fun. And I think another good thing that Worcester allows you to do is they let you get involved in clubs. And it's also another period where you can choose something that you're interested in or even create your own club. Like now as a junior, I run my own club. And it's called Worcester Setting Sunshine, where basically we write like letters to senior citizens who are feeling lonely. And it's just like great that Worcester allows these opportunities. So I definitely think the social life at Worcester is great, and you can expand it by doing so many different things, no matter if you're interested in sports, arts, theater. Like Worcester has it all, and they want you to get involved, which I think is significantly like a huge thing that Worcester like shines at.
Yeah, and I think that there's this question. I really want to highlight this question because just because you participate in a bridge program, that doesn't impede you from enjoying all of the things that Worcester has to offer, right? Alexandra, you can add on.
I was gonna add on to Kendall about clubs. Something that I really like about Worcester is that clubs aren't after school. So if you have an after school commitment that involves you to leave campus and like pursue your endeavors outside of the community, I think that it's really nice that clubs is in the middle, or not in the middle, but at the end of the day, part of the school day. So you get that opportunity to engage in clubs even if you have an outside of school commitment. So no matter like what your interests are, you always get the opportunity to engage in clubs.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. So I'm going to end with a final question, and this is for all of you. What are the 3 most important things you think a prospective bridge student should know, and why are these things important? So Ava,
I
you
th-
want to get it started?
Yeah, for me, at least, I sometimes a teacher will explain one thing one way, and then another teacher, at least, will explain it the same way. But bridge teachers explain it a different way that helps you understand what that topic is or that assignment is.
I can go, Miss Bazemore. I think 3 things that you need to know about Bridge if you're going into it. I think support from the teachers can shift like with how much and what you need. So any project, uh, they're always willing to help you. You just have to be really precise with what you tell them and accurate on what your project is, and they can give you the correct support. But you have to be like ready to what like to know what you're going into with your teachers and peers.
I student to know just like the 3 main things, there's support and like the personalized experience, and I think that go into like a deeper meaning into that. I think this allows you to build skills at your own pace without the pressure of like the traditional classroom expectations. I also think it's a safe space for growth. It's surrounded by teachers and peers who understand everyone learns differently and at different speeds, which creates an environment where you can take risks, ask questions, and even make mistakes without the fear of judgment, which I think is just an essential which is I think is essential for building confidence and improving academically. And it's also just more than academics in the sense that you're learning organization, time management, self-advocacy. You're learning these skills that help you succeed both in school and life. So just like in the program, it's an investment in your academic and personal growth. So these are the lessons that you're going to learn outside of the Worcester community when you graduate one day. It's not just, it's teaching you like how you learn as a learner. So it's just a safe space for how you want to learn.
I can go next. 3 things I definitely would say would be advice I would give regarding Bridge. Utilize your teachers, utilize the advice they give you, and utilize your time. All 3 of those things can be so beneficial and not only getting work done on time and well, but kind of keeping a straight head, not getting too stressed out, kind of making sure your workload doesn't get, too crazy, because then it's not good for anyone. But, use your tools around you because they're there for a reason.
I can go next too. I also think that one thing you should know is building a really good relationship with your bridge teachers so they know who you are as a person as well. I also think utilizing your time, because that's like 50 minutes where you can really sit down and try to get your work done. And I would say just don't like feel super stressed. Just know that that period is for you, and Don't go in there like overwhelmed. Like that's a safe space for you and your work. So
So I'll go next. I would just say don't be nervous. That you don't need to worry about falling behind. That the bridge teachers are always there for you. That you can always go to bridge, get some help. I don't think it was mentioned, but you can also go to office hours. Office hours is a period at the end of each day where you can go to bridge office hours, but you can also go to humanities, science, anything that you need help in, you can go to. So I just say, don't worry, everything will work out.
Awesome, everyone. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences. All did a great job. I have been kind of keep track of the questions that are coming up in the chat. And one question, I think we've addressed a good number of these questions, but one of the questions has to do with the percentage of students in each class in a bridge program. So if you're thinking about at every grade level, I would say the number of bridge students is probably around 20% at the different grade levels. So we try to keep the numbers. Our focus is to make sure that the resources that we have available for students can address their needs. So we really focus on having a ratio between 8 to 1, right? 8 students to 1 teacher. So you'll see co-taught bridge classes in the upper school to make sure that that ratio is met. Are there any other questions? Are there any other things you all want to share with the group that we haven't discussed? You feel like we covered everything? Okay. Well, thank you so much. Again, I am always honored to be in this seat as the moderator for this experience because it reaffirms the work that the adults are doing in Bridge, because Bridge is really about creating an opportunity for all of our students to be successful. So hopefully our guests heard from you all the type of success that you have found in the program, and you have access to everything that any student in Worcester has access to. So we always say that a student who participates in Bridge is a Worcester student first. So thank you again for sharing your stories. We do have a closing poll that just popped up. So we'd love to have some feedback from you. Again, this has been recorded, so you can access this recording on our website, and I believe a link will be shared with you in your email. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to our admissions team. They're more than happy to answer additional questions and support your journey in the admissions process. So thank you so much for attending tonight. Students, thank you for being here tonight. It's always a pleasure.